Well, it's a pretty long haul, you know, to get through the whole off season. A lot of aspects of this off season that we took on to try and challenge us to have the best one we could have, and the best one we've had, and it turned out great. Phase 1, Phase 2, you know, that gets us started and revved up for the OTA season. We had a really solid OTA season. Guys participating and working hard. We finished up today. Minicamp was beneficial. We had a good minicamp, and I know our numbers of practices were down a little bit here, but the work we did and the team stuff that we did was really a great benefit. So the guys take off now. They got 6 weeks to get out of here, and obviously this is a huge opportunity for our guys to finish the off season. And it's a little less structured, but they're going to hang out, work a lot together, and get us ready for a great training camp when we come back.
What's the message you send them?
We want them to really be working hard together as much as possible, you know, and it's much easier to work out when you're working with other players. And then our big thing is about coming back with the right attitude, about making this a great team. It's and that's beyond the lifting and the running and all that stuff. That's about getting their minds right to really work together and work for one another. It's been a big theme for us.
Transitioning from the end of one season to the next, any different this year than it was last, or any season as far as that goes? They're all unique. But there's obviously a similarity in that we do the same things so much. Last year's issues that we dealt with are different than this year's issues that we dealt with, but they can be issues that cause problems just the same, winning and losing. And so the way our guys have worked and the dedication that they've demonstrated and the camaraderie that they've demonstrated makes me think that we're ready to have a great training camp coming back. And that the things like always that have happened before, we need to leave behind and move forward, and we've done that.
How have you treated last year's Super Bowl? Has that been a motivating thing that you've shown to guys? You guys show them the film of that game against the Patriots?
Well, it's honestly we've worked through the entire offseason like we did last year. You know, we had issues all the way through last offseason after winning the game that caused problems, and you have to deal with them. And there's similar fashion. You know, how long does it linger? How much does it stay with you? Our guys have demonstrated that they're ready to move on and all of that. So we've done a lot of stuff to make sure that we encompass everybody. You know, right at the outset of that, after the aftermath of the game, it was important to recognize that everybody's going to deal with this individually, you know, and on their own, and we wanted to respect that, and so we have done that, and everybody's brought everybody back to the point where we're thrilled with what we did this offseason, so we're ready to go.
Do you expect when you guys come back that Russell will have a new contract?
You know, they're still working at it, and I'm hopeful. We're hopeful. That's why we're working.
Do you talk to him much about that kind of stuff as you guys here?
We talk all the time, you know. So we're on the conversation of everything that's going on basically all the time. Specifically about that, no.
Are you of the mind that if it's not done by training camp, let's just play and have to revisit it at the end of the season?
No, I don't care how long we keep working. If we got whatever it takes to do the right thing.
Coach, if you had to assess the rookie, I know it's hard to assess all the rookies with one practice, but if you had to, from draft to signing free agents to today, what did you say and what's your level of satisfaction?
Well, other than Ryan Murphy, you know, who had to stay out for the school stuff, these guys have really jumped into it. They look like they understand what's going on. They're hustling around. They're flying around the practice field. They've spent all the extra hours that they can. Our coaches have worked, you know, as much as we possibly can to keep them versed. Their attitude has been great about the learning and all, you know. So we haven't had to hold back. We haven't, you know, treated them like they don't understand or they're not getting it. They've been given the full boat of installation on both sides of the ball and in special teams, and they're doing great. The indication is when we come back how fast they play. You know, they play with confidence and they understand what's going on so that they can show themselves. That's what we hope, and it's been every indication is that it's been successful for them.
Michael, who haven't been here for some of the offseason with Marshawn, Michael Bennett, reserving, how did they look today? How do you expect them to be?
Well, Michael's been out here a couple of days. He looked fine. He looked right back. He's worked really hard. Marshawn is an extraordinarily well-conditioned athlete. He didn't work today, but you know, I can't imagine him not being in amazing shape like he was last year. I think he'll try to top that this year, so I have no problems with that.
Have you had to talk, especially Michael and Bruce, I guess, had any conversations with them about their situations? Or?
No.
Do you have an update on Jesse Williams, and I guess what is realistic to expect of him?
Yeah, Jesse's in the recovery mode from you know, a major surgery. Had a kidney removed. The process now is to get him back in shape. He's free to come back, and it's just a matter of how soon he can get strong, and what kind of level of conditioning can he achieve, and then we're going to reassess. But the doctors have said that it's safe for him to come back and play football. Now he has to just go through the rehab and fully recover and put himself in a position where he can have a chance to make the team. So we're rooting for him every bit of the way. It's been an extraordinarily difficult time for he and his family, to have to deal with such a young man dealing with issues like this. But he's got great support, and he's a wonderful kid. He's got a great attitude about it, and I would think if a guy can come back from it, he will do that. And so we're giving him every opportunity.
As his coach, what kind of concerns do you have with the guy playing like 1-2?
Well, I don't know only what the doctors tell me. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what that would be like. So, but the doctors say that he's cleared. So.
Pete, with all the success you guys have had the last few years, how much do you work to find the balance between confidence and entitlement?
That's a good question, Mike. There's as you go through the success, and it adds up, and the expectations follow and mount in a sense. There's an opportunity to go one way or the other. And all those years at SC really gave me a chance to be in the middle of all of that, and I sensed entitlement at times, and the young guys that come into a program don't know what it took to get there. They didn't go through the struggles of it, and when they haven't gone through the struggles, sometimes they don't respect what it takes, and so we have to constantly revisit the past and let them know where it was and what it took, and so that they can share in the lessons. And then after a while, you get so far away, and we're not there yet, but you can get so far away from it that there is no connection to it. And at SC, after 8 or 9 years or something, the guys that were in year 7 and 8, they're a long ways. They grew up in the early days watching it happen, but they didn't have the sense of it. And I felt like that's a big understanding to have for the coaching staff and myself. And I learned that when I was there. And now it's just a matter of making sure that we see it happen. You gauge it by their work ethic, and you gauge it by their willingness to consistently lay it on the line out here. And so we're not in that mode right now. But there's still stuff that's happening. I've told our guys a number of times, Russell Okung and Earl, they're not the same as they were when they got here years ago. They've grown through a lot of stuff. They've experienced a lot of tremendous success and the trials and all as well. And there's so much to learn, but we can't always think that we're the same. We're not. We're growing and we're changing. We're adjusting. And so it's a really exciting dynamic to work with, for a coach and all. And that's why last year was such a great challenge. This year is such a great challenge for us as a staff, and I really look forward to trying to manage that and navigate that.
Sort of related to that, you have a number of guys who have been with you now for quite a while. Do you fear or are you cognizant of the fact that the message could become stale, or how it's delivered, or anything like that? That it becomes too
I think about that on almost a daily basis, and how to keep it fresh and how to stay on top of it. When you know that what you believe in is what you believe in, and you're going to stay with it, and there's great comfort in that. But the familiarity sometimes, I have to find ways to keep it fresh and all of that. The responsibility that our older players have to teach the younger players is what keeps it going. They know, and it's fun for them to watch the guys learn it and sense it and come to the understandings and stuff. And so they help tremendously. It was an extraordinary illustration today to see Cliff working with Frank and to see KJ talking to the young linebackers and to see those guys working really hard to help him. Richard Sherman has been dedicated to helping the young corners, and he keeps them out after practice, and they're trying to instill in them the mentality. So that's how we keep it fresh. But I'm always challenged by that. Yeah.
All the varying health issues. Is there anybody when camp starts that you would anticipate not being out there right now? Or
I don't want to speculate on that side of it. Other than I would say, I think Jeremy's got some work to do, to get back, and I don't think we've predicted that he would be out there the first days, but I think he's still got some time with some complications and stuff he's gone through, but he's handling everything really well. We'll see. Other than that, I don't have much to comment on.
How's Earl at this point?
Seemingly great. He's really excited about where he is and his ability to do all the stuff and run around. They just want to wait all the time that they can, and he should be ready and raring to go.
Was Christian Michael sort of banged up here?
His hamstring's a little bit tight. Yeah, he wanted to go today, and we held him out. He went for about half the practice.
Sorry, it's not definitive out here, but did you learn anything these 2 months that maybe you didn't know or learned about your team?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a lot to be gained. It's just you just can't learn everything. You can't learn if a guy's going to block and tackle. You can't tell that. So we don't even expect to understand that. We're really trying to see how well they can learn, how they take to the information. Are they comfortable with it? How do they handle themselves when they're challenged or when they don't do well and stuff like that. There's 1,000 things that we learn about the kids, and sometimes it's probably good for us to be away from the football part a bit so that we can make sure and really be absorbed in who they are as people, what they need to support them as they learn and they grow. And all of the communication things are really at the top of our minds to try to manage at this time. So there's a ton of things that we've learned. It's been very helpful.
Any couple guys stand out for you as people that you didn't know before?
Well, it's been really fun to learn Tyler Lockett. And he's got a lot of responsibility as he goes after this return job. He's inside playing on the slot in their zebra position, and he's playing outside. We've just thrown everything at him because he seems to be able to handle it. He studies really hard, and you don't really know until you get these guys how dedicated they will be when they're in our setting. And he's an exciting addition to the team. I think Jimmy Graham coming in, with the big history and all of the accomplishments that he had. He could have been all kinds of things. He's a great kid. He's as hard a worker as we could hope to get. He loves the game. He loves the challenge. He loves coming to a new setting and having to prove himself. He's feeding off of that. He's fit in with the players. There was some talk about stuff, in other seasons and all. That's become part of the fun, and he's a great addition. So we've learned a lot about him in particular. There's stuff everywhere, man. I can go to every guy that's like that.
How much does Tavares solidify the backup spot, and why'd you guys bring him back?
Well, he gives us great confidence. He took the group down in OT today and won the OT today. He was the MVP, straight from Montgomery, Alabama, or wherever. Yeah, he's a steadying force for us. He's been around. He's a great guy. The players really respond to him. He's tough as nails. He knows our system beautifully and supports Russell and his efforts very well. So, he's going to compete now. He's battling, and RJ's had a really good offseason with us, which is great. So how we like it. But it's great to have T-Jack back.
With the addition of Lockett and the development of some guys like Matthews, McNeil, other guys, how much deeper is that position for you?
It feels deeper, yeah. And you're right about Chris. Chris is a guy that obviously made a big statement by the end of the last season, and he's unique in our group because he is so tall and such a factor in that regard. We're really hoping that he can be a special aspect of our team. So you add him and Norwood coming back healthy, and right now we got to wait a little bit. But when we get our guys all back, we're going to be in pretty good shape. Paul's going to be another exciting addition who finished great last year until he got hurt. So the group is very competitive. It's very fast, and to have Chris as the other end of the spectrum as a big guy, it's really fun to have that too.
Drew Nowak seems to be getting a lot of time with the ones out there, and being left-handed and everything. I mean, is that?
It's not an issue. Sometimes it could be, and we were concerned about that. It might. I talked to Russell today about it. He notices nothing in it. So that's not a factor, which is great for Drew. We are giving Drew a real look at that spot, and that is a real key spot for you guys to watch. As we go through the season, the preseason, and all that, to see how that works out. It'll be as competitive as any spot we have, and. So Lem has done a nice job. Lem is really the elder statesman in that group. We wanted to learn a lot about Drew because he was the guy that changed from defense to offense, and so from college. And we loved his competitiveness and his toughness, and we just want to see how far he can take it. Seems to be handling himself very well in the competition.
Your continuity.
Anyone else? Any other veterans in it? Battle for that spot?
No, we don't.
Continuity's sake, in a perfect world, would you like the center to figure it out?
I'm not worried about it. It seems somewhat interchangeable right now, and everybody's worked with Russell, and so there doesn't seem to be any problem with that. We'll go to camp. We'll have a plan on how to rep those guys because you can have too many guys in the competition. But right now, Tom's been moving guys around to add to their ability to adapt to other spots too, which helps us. So we'll just see it through and see what happens.
Speaking of younger players, Coach, can you talk about the transition of the young linebackers, Pinkins and Marsh, playing a little bit more?
Yeah, if you look today real carefully, you could see the Cassius was playing some outside backer spot for us. He's in that same makeup. 250 pounds. He runs well and got good length to him and all. That he can be a Sam backer as well as a Leo. We've seen Bruce do the same thing. Over time. So that's just for flexibility for the future and trying to see, how well he adapts to that. And this was really his first day of working out. He's been studying it for some time, but did a nice job today. He's got a learning curve, but he did a nice job today. Pink has given us an extraordinary athlete at the spot, and he's learned a ton. Probably the most improved guy on the football field would be Pink from where he started. So we'll see what happens when we go to camp and line him up and give him a chance to go at it. You can't find a guy much faster than that playing outside backer in the league. So we'll see how he does.
You finally got Casey Williams signed. I mean, just where do you see him fitting in with things?
Well, he's I've known this kid for a long time and watched him grow up and stuff, kind of in football here at the U and all, and had a lot of regard for his just natural football ability and catching range and all. In minicamp, he did very well when we had him, and so we had to wait out the school thing. But he caught 3 balls or something today. Looked pretty good out there for the first time out. So I want to see how special he is when he mixes in with our group. I know him to be a really, productive, aggressive football player at the receiver spot, and so I'm excited to see how he fits in.
How do you feel about Rawls as a running back and what you've seen?
Well, I've studied Thomas a lot, and I love his style of running. He's really a head knocker. He really goes after guys, and when you guys get to see him when we put the pads on, you'll see how physical a runner he is. He had play after play after play in college of just smacking people and running and breaking tackles and all that. He showed very good feet. He caught the ball well. He's going to be a very willing blocker. He was a real bright spot. I thought he really jumped out at us, and he was very consistent, worked throughout the whole thing. Knowing that his best, maybe his most exciting dimension hasn't even seen yet, he had a great camp for us. So it'll be really fun to see him when we start playing ball.
Anything else?
All right, guys. Yeah.